Hey, Sarah Lynn Kate here. Whoops, I forgot that I had this plugged in. Sorry about that. How's it going? Sarah Lynn Kate here, and I've got a question for you. Are you posting on the daily, and it seems like nobody is even remotely interested in what you do? Are you sharing about your products inside your stories? Maybe you're even dropping some curiosity posts, but you haven't made a sale, or if you make a sale, they're few and far in between. If that's you, go ahead, drop a me down below. I'm here to tell you you're not alone. I have personally been in those very shoes as well. And here's the problem. And what's causing this? You might be wondering, like, why me? What's happening? What's going on? And the reality is that when this happens, it often means that you just don't have, well, it could be that your sales skills or your content isn't necessarily up to par, but it could also mean that you just don't have any influence. So let's talk a little bit about that influence. Like, what does that mean? Well, influence is what builds up it's that know, like, and trust, where people trust you enough to purchase from you. People, they see that, you know what, you're a pretty cool person. They've gotten to know you. They like what they see. And then then they trust you enough when you promote something to them. Now you might be like, well, what about my friends and family? Here's the thing, is that you cannot solely rely on your friends and family, especially when it comes to building up a business. You can't solely rely on just your friends and family to do this, because nobody's business, whether it was in network marketing or not, it wouldn't survive solely on friends and family. So it's important that, or, if you want this to be more than just a simple, small little hobby that's bringing in a little bit of money here and there, then it's important that you build an audience, you attract an audience, which I spoke on last week. You guys can check that out if you wanted to. Um, but I shared a lot about how to attract an audience, those that are perfectly good strangers to you. But now is, how do you develop that relationship with those new people? Not just your friends and family, people that you've never really talked to before, people that you've met on social media, people that, are honestly there to give you some money that you hope that you could build up those relationships to increase your sales. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, drop a whoop whoop below, because today is a good topic for you. Today I'm going to talk to you exactly on how you can increase your sales volume through the power of influence, through the power of that know, like, and trust. And I see Cassie, I see you there, girlfriend. Hello, my friend. I'm so excited to see you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Today's training is going to be a good training. So let's talk about, how do you develop influence? Well, there's several different ways, but how do you specifically develop influence within your following? Now, with your following, this could be anybody, whether you're on Facebook, it could be your friends list and new friends that you develop throughout each week. This could be on TikTok, it could be on Instagram, but basically, this is the people who have pushed that button saying, hey, I either want to be your friend or I'd like to follow you to learn more information. So, how do you build up that influence with those after they already raised their hand saying, I would like to learn more information from you? First and foremost, my first tip for you to build up that influence on that relationship is, you need to give more than you take. Okay. So, what I mean by that is that you cannot expect to post only posts about your product or your opportunity and expect for that to be enough influence to get a complete stranger to buy from you. They don't know you, they don't trust you. All they see is that you're trying to sell to them. And you know what? People don't like being sold to. So instead of always asking to take something from them, always asking to get, them as a customer, you want to shift your focus. You want to shift your focus by sharing, more value with your audience. So when you create your posts, create more content, more reels, more TikToks, more written posts, more lives about how you can help your audience and not just sell to your audience. In all honesty, on Facebook, for example, if you post every single day of the week, only one or two of those should mention about your product. The rest should be about lifestyle. It should be about engaging posts where you could connect with them. And it should also be where you become, where you're sharing more education, more tips, but it doesn't relate only back to your product. Okay. So you also want to you want to shift your focus where how can you help your audience? I don't know about you, but have you ever been caught up in like the whole, oh, I need to make a post. I need to make a post today. It's going to throw off my dang algorithm. I've been told that I should post at least once a day, if not two, maybe even three times a day. I need to make this post or else like my business relies on it. Where is your focus on? You're focusing on the post, on the algorithm, on your business, rather than on how your post can help your audience. Think about that. I challenge you when you write something, when you share some value, are you just ticking off something from your to do list? Or are you creating a piece of value in the with the intention of this piece of content going to be the best part of your audience's day? Some of the very best copywriters, the very best salesmen, they do that completely intentional, asking themselves before they post, is this something that is relevant to my audience? Is this something that is valuable to my audience? Is this something where this could potentially be the best part of their day? Rather than just, all right, there's my post, ding, done, move on to the next chore. So, and I'm sorry if I'm coming across really abrupt here, but this is something that needs to be quite a shift within, not just on how we show up for our own sanity and well-being, but also on the relationship side that we build with our audience. I don't know about you, but if somebody is showing up in obligation to be a friend to me, I don't want it. I don't want it. I want somebody that I want to build up a relationship there because they care and they're genuinely wanting to help me. They genuinely want to build up that relationship with me. So I challenge you to do the same thing. Don't just post out of obligation. Post because you want to help. Post because you want to be the best part of their day. Post where you're giving them value, not just trying to make the sales. Post where you can truly engage with them. Meet them at the human level. In fact, a saying from one of my good friends, her name is Helen Martin. She always says, "Be a human first and a marketer second." So for you, be a human first and a network marketer second. Be a human first and a direct sales second. All right, but be a human first with all your content, with what it is where you connect in your relationship, when you send a message. I have to tell you, when I see a message that pops up in my messenger inbox and I haven't spoken to somebody in over a year and the first message that I get is, "Do you like vacations?" Hmm, I know exactly where that's going to. And immediately I feel like a number. All right. There was no personal connection there. There was no, hey, how are you? How is it going? Tell me what's going on in your life. Like, I'm sorry we haven't talked in this long. Or, wow, I didn't realize that we were friends. Like, I'd love to learn more about you. Like, generally focus on building the relationship, whether you're going to make a sale or not. I promise you, your audience and your following will notice the difference. I promise you, they will notice. Now, the second thing in order to build up influence to increase your sales is that you want to become a person of authority. So, what does that mean? It means where you become within your space, if you're in the health and wellness space and you're pushing, your product is to help somebody in, gut health or mental well-being or weight loss, that you become that person of authority inside that space, where you share genuine value, where your audience can feel seen, they feel heard, they don't feel alone, they feel like, wow, you get me, you're my person. But also with when you become a person of value, you create content that solves their problems. It provides hope, it provides inspiration, and it's not always leading to the sale. Okay? So if you're in the weight loss, industry, maybe you're providing recipes, healthy recipes that are easy to make. And it has nothing related to your product, even though your product can support weight loss, but you are there becoming a person of authority where you're giving additional value, whether they choose to purchase from you or choose to not. All right. So this is where, giving that actionable advice, giving tips, not just selling your product as a solution. All right. Drop a number two, if that makes sense. This was a hard concept for me to get. And sometimes we get lost in this. I don't know about you, but have you ever gotten lost where that's almost where you feel like that's all you're doing? You're sharing about your lifestyle and then you're talking about the product. Sharing about your lifestyle and you're only talking about the product, only talking about the product, only sharing about testimonials. And before you realize it, like you've just become this, you know, I don't know, like you lose yourself. You feel like you've lost touch with the whole intention of what it was that you got into this to begin with. So that's where, becoming that person of authority, it goes beyond just selling your product. By the way, I see we've got another person, Facebook user. I have no idea who you are, but hi. I just want to say hi. And I see you. Thank you so much for chiming in as well. Cassie, I see you too. I see you. And I'm so glad that you guys are resonating with this because I have too. I've felt that conviction where I'm like just host or holding my product and just being this salesman and losing myself, losing the purpose and the intention behind it to begin with, where I just truly want to help people. And yet again, it comes like it becomes almost like an obligation. I read a great book this summer. It's called The Carpenter. And it just talks about building a business that you love and doing the work that you do out of love. And one of the things that always stood out to me in the book was obligation. Don't do things out of obligation. Do it out of love. And that just it just hit home for me. Honestly, it probably changed the trajectory of a lot of things that I am currently doing compared to when I read that book. So that's the other thing that I really encourage you to do. When it comes to posting, when you becomes to becoming a person of authority, don't post, about your product out of obligation because there is a sale. Post about it because you love the product and you love your following and you truly, truly want to help them. And don't only just post about the product. Oh, and hi, my friend. I'm so glad you're here. And yes, Cassie, I knew you would love it. I knew you did. So, but bottom line is, in order to become a person of authority, guys, is ensure that the people in your audience can benefit from your knowledge, even if they don't purchase your product. Because sometimes it could take a long time for them to get to know you, to see, you know what, there is benefit here, further benefit from me trying your product. But if you're only talking about the sales, you're only talking about the product, they're just going to feel like you're there to sell to them. And that's the only thing you're trying to do. And they're going to get turned off. They're going to unfriend you. They're going to unfollow you and they're going to walk away. So make sure that you become that person where they can benefit from you beyond just buying from you. That's how you become a person of authority. And I realized that I forgot my banners. I've been so caught up in the chat. Now, guys, here's the thing is that all of this won't matter until you learn how to show up unapologetically as you. All right, you've heard me say this phrase so many times, and it's because it is something that I have been living by more and more this year as I discover what it is that I love and I truly enjoy, and what it is that makes me happy. And one of the biggest things that I have noticed as I've transitioned is that when you create content, when you brand yourself and you provide, certain, when you talk about certain topics, and you're talking about certain topics that you're just not passionate about, your audience is gonna notice. They're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of generic. This isn't you. This is somebody else's content. This is weird." Even people who don't really know you, they're gonna notice because the passion is not there. It is not within your content. I'm curious, as you guys are listening here, what do you notice a passion behind it? And I'm actually genuinely curious. To be transparent, this morning was a little rough. I got into an argument, but I'm here because I love talking about this content and I love each one of you. I'm not doing this out of obligation. I'm doing this because this brings joy into my life. It fills up my cup. And I know afterwards I'm going to enjoy it. Like my day's going to be better because of it. And that's because I'm passionate about it. And so I'm curious if that's something that you can also sense too. All right. A lot of people, and that's the thing, like within your written content, your reels, your TikToks, your lives, anything that you go out and do, if you're not passionate about it, your audience is going to know that you're holding back. They know that you're just, oh, there seems something off. Seems that you're faking it almost. And that's something I don't want you to do because you're putting work and effort into that. So if that's what's coming up for you, where you're holding back, then you might need to evaluate, okay, what is it that I do love? What is it that I am passionate about? So that way I can make that true connection with my audience. And I love this. Thank you so much. And sadly, I cannot still see you. For some reason, it's still saying Facebook user, but I know it's you. But that's the thing, is that no matter what's going on, as long as you're not showing up out of obligation, your passion is going to show. It's going to come out. And Cassie, yes, girl, I know this is your place. You're so sweet. Thank you. So, some other things about showing up unapologetically as you is that you're going to attract what you put out. Okay. So be aware of what you say. Otherwise, you might attract negativity or the people that are completely just, they're not your vibe. So if you're trying to model your upline, you're trying to model other leaders and they're just not you, you've put on their jacket and it doesn't fit, just know you're going to continue to attract that. Okay. So once again, you got to discover you. You've got to, ask yourself, what makes me me? How am I hardwired so that way you can show up unapologetically as you? So that way people can connect with you. So that way you could attract those people who are just like you and build up authentic relationships. And here's the thing, bottom line is that, people in general, I don't know about you, but I know this from a lot of people, is that they are tired of the hype. They are tired of the BS. They are tired of being burned, but they're also especially tired of the highlight reels, the look of perfection, the lies. They're tired of that. And then so they're looking for someone that they can truly connect with. So be that person. Be that person by being unapologetically as you. And so what does that mean? If you're struggling like with showing up as unapologetically you, and you're realizing I'm not gaining the sales that I feel like I should be with the amount of effort that I'm pouring into this. Now, obviously, if you're only putting in, 20 minutes a day, or you're only doing this 20 minutes 3 times a week, you're going to get what you put in. Okay. But if you're pouring in your time and your energy and you're still not bringing anyone in, customers, business builders, nobody is purchasing your product. And it's just a matter where you recognize that your influence is unfortunately on the lower side. I'm just going to be real with you, is that You can't expect your audience to change their minds unless you do something different. It's the very definition of insanity. When you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you expect a different result, it ain't gonna happen. So you've got to make a change. You have big dreams here, and you're extremely capable of achieving them. But perhaps you need some guidance. Perhaps you need to know more about yourself so that way you can understand what it is or how it is that you're hardwired. What are your strengths? What it is that you're passionate about? What are your core values? So that way you can show up unapologetically as yourself. So you could build up a community of like minded people so that you can then have more of that influence, of more of that those connections to ultimately increase your sales. If that's you, then let's chat. All right, Cassie and I, we put together an incredible journey. I should have actually changed this, where it's our next level or our next level mentoring program. But we have an actionable or actual or is the word actionable journey. Either way, it's a journey for you to discover more about yourself, to discover how you are hardwired, to discover your passions, your core values, so that way you can show up unapologetically as you and cultivate a community around this, things that you're passionate about. So that you have that influence and bring in more sales. And if that is something that you are interested in learning about, along with the ins and outs of content creation and different profiles, like we have it all. All the way, if you ever want to learn how to do email list building and being on multiple platforms, we have it all. And if that is something that you want to learn more about, drop the level up down below. Just comment it. There's it's free to just inquire about it. You could get on a call with me or Cassie to share and discover if this is a right fit for you. Okay. We're not interested in forcing a program on anybody because we know then you won't show up. And we're not interested in um forcing a square peg in a round hole because we want to make sure that this is something that you're going to be passionate about as well, where you do show up, you do the work, and it's enjoyable for you. And so that way you can achieve your results. We know that not every program is the right fit for everybody. So if you'd like to check and learn more about it, go ahead, drop a level up. Cassie and I, one of us will reach out and we'll connect and we'll see if it's the right fit. So, if you guys got value outside of today's training, go ahead, let me know below. Like I said, this is all about, for today's training was all about how to have that influence. Next week, I'm actually going to be sharing a little bit more about what comes after the influence, after what comes after developing that know, like, and trust. So stay tuned. I know Cassie's got an incredible training planned as well for Thursday. So definitely plug into that. Uh, until then, we'll talk soon. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.